Hi everyone, my name is Adele Childers and I am getting ready to share my competition prep journey with everyone. I am currently 52 years old. We're in the month of August. It's about to be September. So tomorrow morning I'll be starting my 11-week competition prep for my competition in November. So I'm 11 weeks out currently. We're in the month of August of 2021. I'll be competing at my very first NPC show, the Lee Haney Games, which is in November in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was hoping that I will have some women to follow me through my journey, because I know there's a lot of women that are my age that believe that they are too old or they're too out of shape or it's too late in their life to go after a fitness goal or just to be in great shape and feel their best. And even if you don't have the same type of fitness goals that I am going after, you may have some other type of goal that you haven't really pushed forward to because you feel like you're too old and it's just too late and you have too many other things going on in your life. But I believe all of us have a goal that we would love to achieve, maybe that we set once before when we were younger and life just kind of got in the way. And as time goes by, I know a lot of people just kind of give up on those dreams and goals. But I just wanted to hopefully inspire someone out there to show that if you put your mind to it, it's never too late, whatever your goal may be. Now, sometimes you may be limited to what you can do physically, but like I said, there's some type of goal that you can go after. And I'm just hoping, again, that this will inspire not only women my age, but even the younger girls out there. Not give up on your dreams and your goals, because this has actually been a dream of mine ever since I was a teenager. I started weightlifting in high school. I was the only girl in my class that took weight training, and I started competing at a young age. I was in my 20s. I was a bodybuilder and I competed in an all-natural federation, and I did that for several years. And then life just kind of took over, and my goal back then was to stay in the fitness industry. I wanted to be a fitness model and I wanted to compete. And I didn't get as far as I wanted to go. I did not become pro. And at the time when I started competing, that was in 1996, there weren't very many class options for women. It was just bodybuilding and fitness. And I didn't have the fitness experience as far as gymnastics, so I couldn't do that type of competition, but I could do the all-natural bodybuilding. So that's what I chose at that time. And when I was competing in bodybuilding, I always placed first or in the top 3 of each competition that I competed in. And so now it's been 8 years since I've competed, and my last competition was a bodybuilding competition. I competed as a bodybuilder in a natural federation here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I placed in the top 3. And I actually owned a gym at the time, and so I closed my gym about 7 to 8 years ago, and I had become really sick and really fatigued and didn't know what was going on with me. So I'd kind of just given up on fitness and working out because I didn't feel good at all. I was really sad that I'd closed my business, and I just kind of gave up on my passion and my dreams and just started working in corporate America and just trying to have a normal job just to help my husband at the time pay bills and just be normal like everybody else and not really go after what I really wanted to do. And at the same time, I didn't have the energy or the motivation or feel like continuing to work out. So I just kind of gave it up and pushed it behind me. I tried to push it behind me. I tried to close my eyes and tell myself I'm not interested in that anymore. I turned clients down that were still trying to ask me to come help them, train them or help them with their nutrition. And at the time, I just wasn't interested because in my mind, I just wasn't motivated and I wasn't feeling right and feeling it then. And then had so many doctor's appointments. I gained weight. I just didn't know what was wrong. And so after several years of feeling that way, I finally was diagnosed, and come to find out I was actually misdiagnosed with lupus. My primary doctor got my test results back, and it was a false positive, thank goodness, that I had lupus. And then I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome and arthritis, because I could barely move. I could barely get up and walk. Once I did walk for a long period of time, it was very painful. I felt so much older than what I actually was. I was carrying around extra weight, and I didn't understand why I was gaining so much weight. I had actually got up to 165 pounds, which was the most I had ever weighed in my entire life, which was a lot for me because I'm only 5'2", and my normal average weight is usually between 125 to 130 pounds if I'm maintaining. And so that was a lot for me. I just didn't feel good. I didn't like the way that I looked. And so once I did finally get diagnosed properly, I found out that I had a very extreme case of Icy Intercistial Cesitis with Hunter's ulcers in my bladder. And that was what was causing all the fatigue and the pain, urinating all the time. I couldn't hardly ever get in the car and drive anywhere and make it without stopping. I always had to stop and pull over, and just constant pain every time I went to the restroom. Even when I wasn't going to the bathroom, just walking around, there was pain. I was so fatigued. I was just going through the motions, just going to work, going home, and just going to bed. That's all I could do. And so once I was diagnosed, found out what the culprit was, I had to have 3 surgeries. The last one was an emergency surgery, and I actually had bleeding ulcers in my bladder at that time, and the ulcers had clogged my bladder up to where the urine could not come out. So that was very scary. But those 3 surgeries were back to back. Each one was about 4 to 6 weeks apart, which was rare as well, because I should have only had to have 1 surgery and then been able to move forward from there. But I actually ended up with 3. But after the 3rd surgery, I immediately just started dropping weight because all the inflammation, all the toxins just started coming from my body. So I dropped several pounds then, and I was able to start focusing on my nutrition, and I had a couple of my friends that were pushing me to get back into training them and getting back to doing what I love. And so I just started pushing myself about 2 years ago, actually before I even knew what was going on. I was going to the gym with those 2 friends, and I was just trying to work out as much as I could and do what I could. And although it was hard and it was embarrassing because I was so out of shape, but I just pushed myself. And then once the last surgery was over, then I was ready to go. So I really started keeping track of my macros, and then I decided I was gonna get back into really good shape and maybe compete again. And I actually have always wanted to compete in figure. I never was able to do figure because, like I said, I started out in bodybuilding, and then after time went by and opening my own business, I coached several women and men and prepared them for competition. And so all of my clients, all the females, were doing figure and bikini. I had a few doing bodybuilding, and then I had guys doing physique and bodybuilding. And so I always loved all the new classes that they added. I thought it was great that they had these other classes for women, like the figure and the bikini, and now they have wellness. So I think it's awesome because all different builds of women's bodies, you know, different body builds of women, now they have a class for each one. So I think that's awesome. And so I've decided that I'm going to compete in figure, and I feel like that's where I have always belonged, just because of the way that I'm built. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be 53 years old when I compete this November. And so I just wanted to share my competition prep and my journey with you guys, and I hope that you'll follow along. And like I said, I hope that it inspires someone. And as we move through this journey, I'll share more about me and the things that I've been through to get to where I am today, and just to show you how I live my life day to day, and try to continue to motivate and inspire you. So I'm actually really looking forward to this journey. I'm 11 weeks out from my competition. I've already been working for the past 2 years. I've been working really hard in the gym to rebuild my muscle because when I was sick, I'd lost a pretty good bit of muscle and I was pretty much like skinny fat after after I lost all the inflammation and the toxins. After all that dropped off my body, I felt skinny fat. I wasn't toned, but you know, we have muscle memory, so I did notice that the muscle started to come back once I started going really hard in the gym and making sure that I was getting the right macronutrients that I needed in order to rebuild my muscle and get toned and stay lean. So I've actually been working really hard the past 2 years, and especially this year since January. I've really dialed in on my macronutrients and my training, and so I've actually been in pre-competition prep since the beginning of the year because that's when I decided that I knew I was going to compete again this year. I just didn't know when. So I've worked really hard to be where I am right now, but now it's time for me to start leaning out and dialing in for my competition. So that will be for the next 11 weeks, and I hope that you will enjoy following me through this journey, and I'll keep you guys posted each week and show you some of the things that I eat and some of the things that I do during my training, and just everything that kind of goes into competition prep. And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much.